So here's the truth most folks don't say out loud. Life after 80? It's not all gentle sunsets and bingo nights. Some parts are downright unfair. And if you're not ready for them, they'll catch you off guard like a gust of wind that sneaks right under your coat. The first thing nobody wants to admit is this: your body starts whispering things you don't want to hear. Actually, scratch that. It starts yelling. You might have made it through your 70s thinking you were the exception. Walking every day, eating your greens, cracking jokes with your doctor. Then 80 shows up like an uninvited guest, and suddenly your knees hurt when it rains. Your balance has a mind of its own, and naps turn from guilty pleasures into medical necessities. One day, getting up from a chair takes strategy, not strength. Strategy. You shift forward, grip the arms, count to 3, and pray your hip doesn't throw a tantrum. But here's the kicker: you're still you. The mind inside is sharp, alive, curious, and yet your body's acting like it didn't get the memo. That disconnect? It's maddening. You remember dancing, traveling, running upstairs just because you could. Now you avoid rugs like they're snakes, and you're on a first-name basis with your heating pad. It's not about vanity anymore. It's about control, about independence. And when your own body starts betraying you, it feels like a slow-motion insult. The second reality? People start treating you like you're invisible, or worse, like you're fragile glass. You'll notice it at the pharmacy, when the cashier talks to the person you're with instead of you, or at the bank, when they speak slower, louder, as if your age has stolen your hearing and your common sense. And let's not even talk about hospitals. You could walk in with a broken toe and walk out with 5 medications and a social worker you didn't ask for. It's not always cruel. Sometimes it's well-meaning, but it chips away at your dignity, one moment at a time. You want to say, "Hey, I'm 83, not 8." But you don't. You smile, nod, let them help with your groceries even though you could have done it. You start picking your battles because your energy is precious. But deep down, you miss being seen, truly seen, as a person, not a patient, not a statistic, not a cute little grandparent in a cardigan. Just you. Then there's the loneliness. That's the third one. And it's a heavy one. No one warns you about how quiet life can get after 80. It's not just about being alone in the house. It's about being the last one standing in a photo that used to be crowded. Friends go. Siblings go. Sometimes even your spouse. And you're left holding stories no one remembers and phone numbers that don't pick up anymore. You try to stay social. You join a group, go to the library, maybe even get on one of those newfangled video chats your granddaughter set up. But it's not the same. You crave the comfort of someone who remembers the same songs, the same headlines, the smell of the same old bakery that closed back in the 60s. Someone who finishes your jokes before you do. That kind of companionship is rare at this age. And when you lose it, it's like losing a language. A part of you goes quiet. And let's talk about the fourth reality, the one that creeps in late at night. Fear. Not the dramatic kind. Not burglars or bad guys. No, this fear is quieter. It tiptoes into your bedroom around 2 a.m. when the house is still and your thoughts are loud. It whispers questions like, what if I fall and no one finds me? What if I forget something important? What if today's the day I lose my independence? You don't tell people about this fear because it feels like surrendering. But it's real. And it shows up in little ways. You check the locks twice. You keep your phone in your pocket even when you're just going to the bathroom. You think twice about climbing the step stool even though the light bulb's been out for 2 weeks. It's not paranoia. It's caution. It's experience. And it's part of your daily math. How to live fully, without crossing a line that could cost you dearly. And now, the fifth harsh reality. This one stings. You start to feel like a burden. You don't mean to. You never wanted to be. But you see it. In the tired eyes of your daughter after she drives you to your appointment. In the silence when you ask for help again. In the sighs, the hesitations, the careful tones. And oh, you try not to ask too much. You wait until your list is long before you bring it up. You tell yourself you're just being considerate. But deep down, there's a fear growing like a weed. That your presence might one day outweigh your value. That your needs will eclipse your relationships. It's not true, of course. You are loved. But the feeling sneaks in anyway. Especially when you overhear a conversation you weren't meant to hear. Or when you see the relief on someone's face when plans are canceled. So you apologize more. You shrink a bit. You make yourself small in the name of love. And that's the tragedy, isn't it? You spend a lifetime giving to others, only to find yourself afraid to receive. But here's the twist most people miss. These 5 harsh truths, they're not the end of the story. They're the middle. They're the part where you grit your teeth, take a deep breath, and decide what kind of 80-something you're going to be. Because yes, the body rebels. Yes, people forget to see you. Yes, friends pass on. Fear knocks, and guilt lingers. But so does wisdom, so does humor, so does the stubborn spark that's carried you this far. So if you're feeling that spark, if you're nodding right now because some part of this hits too close to home, stay with me. Because in part 2, we're not just naming the hard truths, we're flipping the script. And the part that comes next? That's the part they don't expect from people like us. Now let's get one thing straight. You may be over 80, but you're not finished, not even close. You didn't get this far in life by being delicate. You survived world changes, heartbreaks, and decades of getting up when life knocked you down. So what if the stairs talk back now or the mirror tells a different story? You're still here, and that means you've got something powerful most people don't. Perspective. Let's revisit those 5 hard truths and see what they're really made of. Your body? Yes, it's slower, maybe a bit creaky. But guess what? It's been carrying you for over 80 years. That's a lot of miles, memories, and meals. It's been through injuries, pregnancies, surgeries, long winters, maybe even a few wild dance floors. And yet, it still gets you out of bed. Still puts one foot in front of the other. That body deserves your respect, maybe even your admiration. And just because it needs more care now doesn't mean it's given up on you. You just have to treat it like an old friend who needs a little more attention. Stretch. Move gently. Listen when it whispers. And if it wants the pudding instead of the salad some days? Honestly, who's judging? Now, about being invisible. That one's tough. There's no sugarcoating how society treats the elderly. But here's the thing. Invisibility can be a strange kind of power. You can observe without being noticed. You can speak truth because you've earned the right. And when you choose to speak, people listen, because your words come wrapped in wisdom. If the world won't give you a spotlight, you can still light your own corner with honesty, humor, and grace. And let's be honest, sometimes it's nice not being the one expected to host, drive, or fix everyone's mess. Let them think you're fragile. Meanwhile, you're quietly mastering life like a chess game. And loneliness? That one's real. Maybe the most real of them all. But it's not the same as being alone. You can feel lonely in a crowd, and you can feel connected with just one good phone call. What matters now is quality, not quantity. One deep conversation can warm a week. One handwritten letter can bridge 1,000 miles. If you're feeling disconnected, take the first step. Send that card. Make that call. Tell that old story again. You know the one. People may act like they've heard it before, but they always listen by the end. And don't underestimate new connections. You may not find another best friend at 85, but you might find a neighbor who brings you soup, a book club buddy, someone who laughs at your jokes even when they've got their own hearing aid turned down low. There's still room for connection, always. That fourth one, fear, never fully leaves. But here's what age gives you that youth never could. Clarity. You know what matters now. You know which fears are worth worrying about and which are just background noise. And most of the time, the fear is louder than the facts. You think you'll fall, but you don't. You think you'll forget, but you remember more than anyone gives you credit for. And even if one day fear does come true, you'll face it the way you've faced everything else. With grit, with a deep breath, and maybe with a little curse under your breath, because you've earned that too. Fear fades when routine grows, when you know where the flashlight is, when you've got a system for your pills, when you've taught your grandkid how to check in. Fear hates preparation, so be prepared, not paranoid, just steady. That's how you beat it. And as for feeling like a burden, let me ask you something. How many times did you drive across town for someone else's errand? How many meals did you make? Beds did you tuck in? Problems did you solve? You spent decades being the person others leaned on. It's okay to lean back now. That's not being a burden. That's being human. And maybe they sigh. Maybe they seem tired. That doesn't mean they don't love you. It means life is busy. You taught them how to handle life, so trust that they'll handle helping you. And if they forget to say thank you for all those years you held everything together, let me say it now. Thank you. Now here's the wild part. The part no one expects when you hit your 80s. You get braver, not in the skydiving kind of way. Although, hey, you never know. But in the way that matters. You stop pretending. You speak your mind. You wear what's comfortable, not what's trendy. You stop chasing things that never mattered. And you start noticing the things that do, the warmth of the sun through the window, the exact shade of blue in your morning teacup, the sound of a child's laugh on the radio. You don't need as much to feel full. That's your superpower now. Your eyes are sharper where it counts. You can see through nonsense in seconds. You know when someone's faking a smile, and you know when someone's worth your time. You become a kind of human lie detector, polite but deadly accurate. And that voice inside you, the one that always second-guessed, doubted, waited for approval, it gets quieter. It finally shuts up. You say what you mean, and sometimes what you say is exactly what someone else needed to hear. So what if your knees creak? Your soul sings, maybe softer, but richer, deeper, like a cello that's seen decades of storms and still plays in tune. And here's one more secret. The people around you, your kids, your grandkids, even your neighbors, they're watching. They're learning. How you move through this season of life becomes their manual. You're teaching them how to age with grace, how to find humor in stiff joints and stubborn tech, how to live when the world slows down. They may not say it, but they're watching. So be the kind of elder they'll quote one day. Be the laugh they'll remember when things get tough. Be the strength that echoes even after you're gone. Because yes, aging comes with harsh truths, but so does life at any age. The difference is, now you've got the experience to face them with calm defiance. You know where you stand, and if you don't, well, you've got a good chair and some time to figure it out. So if you're nodding right now, smiling through a few memories, or just feeling a bit more seen than usual, don't go quiet again. Tell us where you're watching from. Share your story in the comments. And if this video felt like a warm hand on your shoulder, consider sticking around. Subscribe for more. You've still got a lot to say, and we'd love to hear it. Besides, who else is going to keep us all grounded when the world keeps spinning like a confused teenager with a smartphone? Exactly.